Okay, with your back to Old Shanghai, make a right and walk up Grant Avenue.
Immediately after the earthquake, Loktin Eli started using his substantial diplomatic and banking connections to raise $3 million to rebuild his store. That's $100 million today. It was a gigantic sum to accumulate in a very short period of time, but the whole community realized the stakes were enormous. Loktin Eli knew that if he could successfully rebuild his store in Chinese beautiful style, he could start a trend that could secure the neighborhood for the Chinese community forever, constructing buildings that were obviously theirs.
We are the ones who will build them, their wildest dreams. We are the ones who will make believe.
You should be at the corner of Grant and California Streets. Facing California Street, turn left to cross Grant Avenue.
Okay, turn around and look back across Grant Avenue, and you should see the Sing Chung building. It says Dim Sum Corner on it now. It's huge, with a 3-story pagoda on top of it. To its left across California Street is the less ornate Sing Fut building with its own towering pagoda crown. These buildings blend into the surrounding streetscape now, but imagine what they must have looked like when they were first built.
We are the ones who make believe.
The buildings were a stake in the ground, an act of defiance, a marker claiming the neighborhood as Chinese.
Oh, we are the ones.
Here, Chinese beautiful was also Chinese strong, Chinese centered. It was a declaration: we will remain.
We are the ones. We are the ones.
These buildings are powerful, and I wonder if some of that power comes from Loktin Eli's hybrid identity. He was one of the earliest Chinese Americans. His citizenship itself disrupted the idea of what an American leader could look like. He was able to connect to and draw strength from both sides of his identity. On that note, there's one last view of the Sing Chung building I want to show you.
Between all of the living and the ghosts we cannot see.
Perfect. You should be at the stairs to the park now. Sit on the ledge to the right of the staircase. You should be able to see the Sing Chung building and the old brick church, St. Mary's Cathedral, across the street from you.
There's something about this view that makes me stop and think. It's an in-between space.
We walk in the spaces between. I saw you in a fever dream.
You see how the Catholic Church stands in sharp contrast to the Sing Chung building across the street? They're frozen in a sort of uneasy truce. They're a reminder that this neighborhood exists today because of a compromise. The Chinese beautiful style was a compromise. Yes, the Chinese were allowed to remain in this prime part of San Francisco, but they had to compromise some of their story, water it down and make it appealing to whites. And they would have to wait another half-century before restrictions on Chinese immigration were lifted. I suppose for a long time, I created a sort of Chinese beautiful music, sung by someone who looked Chinese but tried to be relatable to mainstream white audiences. To be honest, I'm still learning how to tell my own story in my music. I'm still learning alongside many of us what it means to be truly Chinese American, instead of just assimilating into the American side or holding on to the Chinese side. I'm still learning how to take up space in the center of the room, rather than singing from the margins, from the spaces between.
We walk in the spaces between.
Many thanks to the people in Chinatown who helped us put this together. I'm Alex Wong. Thanks for walking Chinatown with me.
Between the hidden alleys and the streets of the American dream, we walk in the spaces between. I saw you in a fever dream. You had your grandma's eyes. Everything was cold and clean, a world I didn't recognize, until I heard you start to sing, speaking in the devil's tongue. What did all the struggle bring? What did we become? Between all of the living and the ghosts we cannot see, between the ones we left behind and the ones we'll never meet, between the hidden alleys and the streets of the American dream, we walk in the spaces between. We walk in the spaces between.